The Whipping Boy by Sid Fleischman. Chapter 8, The Ransom Note. Hold Your Nose Billy tilted the princely crown in his head. What have you written down so far? Jimmy glanced up from the sheet of paper. To the King's most sacred majesty, dear Papa. Ah, that sounds proper respectful. What else? Our captors are loyal subjects, but scoundrels by trade. Don't cross them. Make that a mite stronger, said the outlaw, beginning to pace. Tell him we are shameful men, and rough as a sack full of nails. Warn him we fear no gallows. Jemmy dipped his quill in beet juice and continued scribbling. I'll tell him you've got reserved seats in hell. Ah, that's the ticket! Cutwater had begun gnawing away at a roasted pheasant, and his cheek swelled out as if he had a monstrous toothache. What about the King's soldiers, Billy? Now the fog's lifted, they'll be following the lad like a trail of ants. Puts my spine a shiver. Faugh! exclaimed Hold Your Nose Billy. Even rabbits get muxed up and lost in the forest. We're well hid, Cutwater. I'll warn Papa, Jemmy offered generously, that if you spy out a single uniform, you'll crack my neck like a chicken's. Prince Brat sat sullenly on a pile of mouldy bedstraw. He glanced icily at the whipping boy who had seized his royal title. And don't forget the reward, Billy, said Cutwater. We want the prince's weight in gold bangers, right? Tell the King that, directed Hold Your Nose Billy, in big letters. Now let me reckon out a safe spot to deliver the loot. Jemmy dipped the quill, but then paused. God, if I were a prince. Show some high and mighty, Jemmy. Think like a prince. Dimwits, he flared up. Catchpenny rogues! I will not be exchanged for such a trifle. My mere weight, a paltry treasure you can carry on a shoulder. How dare you insult me? Hold Your Nose, Billy. His red eyebrows shot up in bewildered surprise. Insult you? A trifle? A prince is worth a prince ransom. The eyebrows lowered as quickly as they had risen. No offence meant, lad. How would you calculate a proper ransom? A wagon-load of gold at the very least, and jewels mixed in. As I'm alive, a wagon-load! Cutwater gulped down the wad of fowl in his mouth. Did we forget about jewels, Billy? A wagon-load it is, then! Exclaimed the hairy outlaw. Prince Brat's mouth fell open at the whipping boy's nervy mischief. Hold Your Nose Billy stood over Jemmy's shoulder and watched the words being scratched out. Finally he said, Have you made your sign yet? About to, replied Jemmy. With as much flourish as he could manage, he wrote, Your obedient son, Prince Horace. And that's the end of Chapter 8.